change my background so I'm not in Greece if you're going to actually
You can
record
do
this.
whatever you want. It's
Yeah,
your it's
let me just change up
it's your
things here a
image.
little bit.
We don't care what you look like, really. Be honest about it. I'm
Mhm.
backing up so that I can be
There we go.
about the same size. Oh, that's a nice one. I like that. Okay, so what's the name of your company? Direct something?
Prime data.
Prime Data.
Prime
Okay,
data.
let's see. And where are you located? Up by Toronto?
Just north of Toronto,
Okay, let's
Ontario,
just go with
Canada.
that because we're Americans and we don't know where the heck Toronto is, much
I
less.
know. Like, why would you?
Yeah, right. Okay. So I'm John Miglash with the WDMA, and I'm here with Steve Falk, and he's the founder and inventor at Prime Data. Is that right?
Yeah, it's a great name. Inventor. It kind of conjures up Thomas
I
Edison,
like
doesn't
that.
it?
Yeah. And he's just north of Toronto, but he does do a lot of work with U.S. clients. Is that fair?
That's fair. Yeah, we're very close to the U.S. border at Niagara Falls, so every day just about we drop mail in the U.S. through there.
You drop it in the falls and over a
Yeah,
barrel and see if it gets
yeah.
delivered.
Your
That
mail
might
crosses the bridge and overlooks the beautiful falls when it gets delivered from
that
us.
might be drops it over the falls. That might be quicker than USPS. We don't know. I get in trouble, but they're not members. I can't figure it out. I get all these USPS people patting me on the back for promoting mail. I think I'm the only one who does. Toxic
Well, the
masculinity.
two of us met that way because we both seem to be people who like to talk about the importance of mail and how it works in these days and why people should be using it. So
Well,
that
so
brought us together.
so your company sounds like a data company.
Yeah.
And so what do you have to do with mail? What's the distinctive of your company?
Well, we started as a data company 22 years ago, and then 12 years ago when I came on board, we bought everything we needed, and we moved three times to build inkjet and laser printing and whatever full mail capacity. So we have solid roots in technology, but I think one of the things that distinguishes us these days is the technology foundation. So we're doing an awful lot of automated direct mail. So it's, things where the data is coming in every day through APIs, coming from e-commerce companies, coming from people who are sending us stuff to mail every day, and within hours it's going into the mail system.
So like if I'm running on something like Salesforce, I know they have a lot of API connections. You connect with
Yep.
them?
Yeah. So
Okay. So I want
we
to
have
send a
clients who have built
yeah, so
things.
I want to send a piece of mail in my Salesforce. I got this little follow-up letter and it looks like a greeting card, let's say, or something.
Yeah.
And I'm talking to you and I say, "Oh, I got to send Steve something." I click on something and magically the
Yep.
API takes it to Canada and you send it over the falls or wherever it goes.
Yep, we print beautiful folded cards with handwriting script on that say, "Thanks for the meeting on Salesforce. I love talking with you. Can't wait till we'll meet in person at the show in Orlando." And then that gets put in a beautiful handwritten outer envelope. Sometimes there's stamps. A bunch go to the US, a bunch go to Canada, and it all happens within 24 hours of you pressing the button.
Right, but I just want to send that one. And
That's it. You got just one, but there's
what if
users
what if
all
it looks I
in your
want what
company.
if somebody else wants to send one that doesn't look like mine? It's a different one.
There's a templated variety of them. So
Oh,
there's
okay.
a number of different ways you can do it. Like if you've, I think the closest imitation to the kind of work that we work with, and some of our clients have developed these things as well as us, would be like thinking about how you do an email campaign. And I think that's where direct mail and email they're so similar, right, in the way that we've tried to do things. We use different channels to get there, but how we communicate is the same. So like how you would design an email in an email program where you'd pull down a header and have different templates ready to go, and then dump a bunch of today's results in there. People maybe who visited your website, abandoned a shopping cart. You wanted to thank for buying their first thing. You wanted to bring them back because it's been 6 months since they've been there. You'd send emails to
Well,
them. You can also use.
the thing that would really like is to have it send them out 2 months later when I've forgotten about them, and follow follow up with them automatically. That's what I
Yeah,
really
well, they
need.
have those kinds of programs now. So, like, if you could just go in and go like marketing automation tools, those things are all built on that, right? They just keep a timer going and they say, if a client hasn't come back to the store in 2 months, please send them an email or a text message or a printed postcard with some kind of offer coupon, welcome back, etc. So, it's marketing automation Like when direct mail meets marketing automation, you've stacked all your channels up. You know what you want to say, and you're using all the different channels that people would like to get.
Okay. So now when I signed up for this meeting together, I said, what I really want to know is do you have any case studies or anything? Because I worked with big catalog companies, and we
Yeah,
would mail, we would mail the people that had bought in the last 3 months more aggressively than the people who hadn't bought in the last 3 years, as an example. And we would do it all with RFM, right? And
yeah,
maybe we would play with the inkjet message or something, but basically we'd be sending out a catalog. And we do a lot of modeling to decide, maybe they were an old hunter and it was hunting season and we wouldn't mail the old fisherman. There's a lot of
yeah.
segmentation we could do with millions of customers. But um, I think we were pretty efficient with it, because when you're dropping 500,000 pieces in the mail or something, you got to get pretty good at doing those selects.
Yeah.
Um, Now we're talking at the very other end of the spectrum with
Like
automated
micro mailings,
teeny
right?
weeny little drops. Yeah, and I just keep thinking, well, it's got to be a lot more expensive. Um, but do you have any? And not that
Oh,
expensive is bad.
it's
Is it
definitely, yeah.
effective? That's the question. Is the expense worth it? And do you have a
Uh,
case study or something that?
there's two of them on our website. One mentions Sephora, and the other one mentions Wayfair. Like a company like Wayfair, you think of them mostly selling furniture online, and maybe like they could solve most of the problems they need to solve by just having online conversations with their customers, right? But that you see Wayfair billboards, you see trucks with Wayfair printed on the side of them. Like they're a very multi-channel marketing company. And I think there's TV ads, there's certainly digital video ads and all kinds of things for Wayfair. But they realized that they for acquisition, they would use direct mail to target neighborhoods where there would be people in the right kind of marketplace. So they would do kind of EDDM or saturation mailings around that to get new acquisition. But then ongoing customers, they had the home address because they shipped furniture to them, right? So it's no longer purely a digital communication channel. They have the
Right.
opportunity to send a
And they did have a
postcard.
catalog for a brief moment.
Yeah, so with Wayfair, there's a case study in Sephora as well. The Wayfair one, what they really wanted to do was bring people back who had abandoned shopping carts. They had pretty
Sure.
good statistics from online email campaigns. They knew that if they sent emails out, X percentage of people came back
Yeah, and you don't have to
and
share the
purchased.
percentage, but is it better? Because mail
Oh
is
yeah.
about 10 times more expensive or 20 times more expensive. So is it a comparable amount boost?
All they had to do was take 50% of the people for 3 months and send them a postcard,
Yeah.
right? And then they said, well, we spent X number of dollars on postcards, but we sold this much more furniture when we sent the postcard, and our margin is X. And so we made a 5X or whatever the number is, X, and they're good, right? So I just say, why don't, there's a model. Anybody thinks that they want to boost their email marketing, take a 3-month slice, take a chunk, like,
Yeah,
uh,
and it doesn't even have to be
you
half if you got enough traffic, right?
like there's numbers I probably shouldn't tell you, but they like normally three people buy for another 6 people who don't finish
On a yeah,
on
well, we have
e-commerce,
industry
so
statistics on cart abandonment, and it can
that's
be as
right.
high as 50%. But
No,
it's
70 sort of industry, like it's very high, like it's
okay, yeah.
very, very
I
few
do it a
people who get
lot
50.
because it's
Yeah,
like,
and
where do you find out the shipping charges? Oh, you have to go all the way to the end. Oh, okay, that's where I'm going to stop.
yeah, and so they and they've also done other studies that aren't covered in that, which I don't think I'd be too out of place to just mention that. Like, they think that they've spent so much time getting a customer that losing them is a terrible loss, and so
Well,
that they'll
right.
do re-engagement. And I think anybody can, quickly do the calculation on like what's it like when I just stop having that customer buy. They
Yeah.
maybe only bought 3 things from us, and you're really hoping lifetime value in e-commerce. Like you're not setting up. There's exceptions. Like we've talked to the mattress companies who make those big squishy mattresses. You only sell one. So you don't have any follow-up. Like you don't even
Right.
have like, like at least in the fishing tackle business, the guy loses a lot of lures, so he's back every year. You're expecting recurring revenue, but like not in the mattress business. You're hoping that you sold them the best mattress the last 10 years, and so you don't have to worry about
Yeah, but 10
re-engagement.
years isn't that long. And what was interesting is if you've heard my love sack case study, and this may help you. It's on YouTube under, if you look for like 50-minute or more of my videos,
Yeah.
they're in there. And there's one called Why Mail, and it's laid out pretty well there. And every now and then I give it a good 10 minutes to explain it. But they made furniture, and expensive furniture, and you know, you'd never need it again. That's their pitch, is that
Yeah.
you can recover it by yourself. It unzips the covers, you can throw in the wash machine. It always looks new, and if you want to put leather on because you could afford it now and you couldn't when you bought it, you can do all that stuff. So the VP of marketing said to me, "Well, why would we mail to people that already know what we do when we're looking for new customers, because people don't buy this very often?" And I
Right.
said, "Super good question. And nobody's ever asked me that." And I said, we can figure it out. He said, "You can?" And Patrick, he came from Mountain Dew, so he didn't, he wasn't about
You didn't know individual customer data stuff
the
because that
yeah,
was
he didn't know what we
yeah.
could do in mail that we can't
Mhm.
do in TV or something. And so I said, "Yeah, we'll take 90% and we'll mail them, and we'll take 10% and not mail them, and we'll be very careful about it. And we'll see what happens." And right off the bat, we had a 300% ROI. The customers who we mailed to bought more, clearly more, because we had their credit card number and we could recheck all that, than the people who we didn't mail, who we just let go. The customers would come back, and I don't know, maybe they bought throw pillows or new covers or something. We didn't worry about what they bought. We just said, "Oh, it came right back in the next month or two." And then we noticed, because we were doing the matchback, right, by hand, pretty much, just looking at it and trying to tune it to be fair. And my IT guy says, "Hey, there's a lot of next door neighbors that bought." So I called up Patrick. I said, "Could we put those in?" And he said, "Well, do it both ways. See how it comes out." 900% ROI when we put those in. For every one customer that came back to buy furniture, 2 neighbors came back and bought furniture.
That's funny, eh? Because like you almost like putting a yard sign out on the street that says, "I just bought some new furniture," with that postcard. But it's
Well,
a
or
classic.
they,
It's a
yeah.
classic example,
Well,
like
or they come over and they
yeah,
say, "Where'd you get this?" "Oh, here's a catalog."
yeah.
Kaboom. That's going to respond way better than than anything else you could ever do in any media.
Yeah, I
And
think that there's certain products, and we both just talked about a furniture example where the good news is everybody needs furniture. Like
eventually,
yep, if I go back to the fishing one, the two neighbors could not be fishermen, in which case the conversation, "Oh, I see you got a new box of rods
well, in
on
my
the
neighborhood they
table."
are.
Yeah, so
We
like
all are.
if there's certain products that are really great for those examples
Yeah.
because everybody's got furniture in their house, everyone can admire their neighbors' new stuff and go, "Hey, maybe I should try it too." So these
Well,
fit.
also in the US, if you're mailing into a big apartment building and it says Steve Falk or current resident,
Yeah,
the Postal Service can or does just drop the whole pack. And the neighbors in that building will get access to those catalogs if they want them.
the dear occupant stuff. Yeah,
Yeah, and
the
so,
it's Earth Day here in Canada, and I know it is around the world.
oh
I
yeah,
would
talk
I
about that.
have to mention our greenhouse gas neutral direct mail. It
It's okay
I
with me.
I know. So I just put a shout out to my team who did the research. We basically did a greenhouse gas emissions study of we went and talked to the paper companies who made the paper that we use, and then we looked at our commute to work and our plant, and then we went and opened up the annual report for Canada Post. I just talked to a company called Lob in the States, and they're doing much the same thing
Oh
down
yeah,
there,
I
and
know
and
them.
they're going to have an announcement in June or July. But we were the first to come to market anywhere in the world where we did the full scope of the whole system from the tree to the mailbox. And we are buying greenhouse gas offset credits for the whole process. So any mail that leaves our place comes out carbon neutral. And starting this April, it's the first time we've launched it. So it's kind of a neat initiative. It allows us to think we're doing our little part. that we can for our little sector. And the information that we have is all available on our website. It's open IP. If somebody else wants to attempt to try it, not that difficult. I recommend having a look at it.
Yeah, now you should tell your clients they should also kick in for all the server electricity they're burning
Yeah,
in
and you
the
know what's
world.
happening? So to be fair to some of those, like I think Amazon may be buying offset credits for all of their servers. Microsoft is,
Yeah.
and
Well,
you
except
know,
they moved to Canada because the power was cheaper.
yeah. Well, probably also the other thing is because our power comes from water falling down a hill as opposed to burning coal. They don't have to buy as many offset credits, right? So
Right.
hydro uses a lot less. So does nuclear. So if you're only concerned about greenhouse gas emissions, you'll try to find places where, like some provinces in Canada, Nova Scotia, for example, we don't have a pipeline or any big rivers over there or anything, so they just still burn coal. They have coal mines in Nova Scotia that still work, and
Kind
so
of makes sense if you got the coal right there.
yeah. So I mean, so they're trying to do more solar there, but anyway, that's our announcement for this year. Moving forward, we think we can continue with this carbon neutral direct mail, and it will reduce people's immediate objections to paper and mail that they might bring up. Hey, isn't this bad for the environment? We've actually done quite a bit of work on this to try and just make it not so.
Right. I know. And paper does recycle. It also burns if you want to put it in an incinerator and make more electricity to pay for
You've
all
heard of
those
the
servers.
circular economy. You heard of that,
Yeah.
right? So, if you get an email and it emits greenhouse gas emissions as it goes through the servers and ends up on your phone. When you read it, poof, the greenhouse gas emissions are in the sky. You can't recycle it. But when you get a piece of mail, the carbon's still in the paper. It
I
hasn't been
know.
released into the sky. Now you've released some carbon getting it there in the transport system, but then you can crunch this up and throw it in the recycle bin, and it can circular around. Paper goes around quite a
Yeah.
few times before it can't be used, and so it really, a piece of paper is part of the circular economy in a way that an email message or a text message or a social media post will never be. You just
Right.
can't recycle it. You can't crunch it up and throw it in the green bin for use a second day.
Okay, so now that we've got an excellent reason to work with you specifically, what clients would you really like most? What would you, if you could talk to anybody who's either considering mail or doing mail, what would you be looking for and what would you say to them?
I would love to talk to clients who have lost faith in it and sort of maybe did it once and said, "Ugh, that doesn't meet with our, X multiplier on our return on marketing spend that we currently get with this amazing digital world." I'll say, you know what, I think I can find ways to prove. And the second group would be maybe somebody who's never used direct mail before. Like people, we get people coming in saying, like, I use SMS, email, every other digital channel as part of my marketing stack, but I hadn't, I'm only 29. I've never even licked a stamp. And so could you tell me, and so people who've never mailed or people who lost faith in it, I think we make a good argument on how to test it, integrate it, make it feel like a modern piece of your marketing technology.
Okay, and it sounds like, if they want to mail 10 pieces a day or what? What's a good scope for you guys? What's a sweet spot?
Oh, you know what? Nobody really wants to do any channel unless they're doing it. Why bother
What's the
doing any
point, right?
channel? And if you're only doing 6 a day, right? So, but like, anybody who's got 100 to 1,000 relevant communications a week is probably, if you're doing 100 relevant ones to move a Mercedes, they're pretty
Yeah.
relevant,
Yeah.
So I think sometimes it depends on what you're trying to move.
Well, what would be
But
an upper limit? Because, I know you're not doing rotogravure, right?
yeah, no, with our inkjet printers and stuff now, I mean, the only limitation is can we get the stock, of course, because of supply chain issues. But literally, you can move, hundreds of thousands of postcards a day
Okay.
with inkjet, and you can really
Is
and
that
we're a
mainly
growing
what
company.
you're
Like,
what you're doing is variable press inkjet?
yeah, everything's right fresh from it's a white paper factory, as we call it. It's a white piece of paper when it goes into the machine and
Yeah.
comes out afterwards. There's very few customers that have the kinds of volume or the kind of static uniqueness to it that would lend itself to like printing a bunch of shells and then just putting the address on. But it happens from time to time.
Do you you mentioned a folded piece, like it could look like a greeting card. So I'm assuming you do those and flat postcards. Do you do multi-page, mini catalogs or anything like that?
There's a few things that are like mini catalogs. There's a piece that we do like that looks like this. See how this kind of looks like an envelope?
Yeah.
But it's not. This is a self mailer that opens up for fundraisers.
Okay. Yeah. Nice.
And it's printed on an inkjet press, and it's big, but
it
it
has
has
a return
envelope.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
nice. I like
it's
that.
glued on with a little piece of glue dot.
Yeah,
And
I
so
know.
this is also it looks like a coupon that you get on most fundraising pieces of mail. I'd have to take the it's what it looks like, the what you'd expect a fundraising piece of mail to look like, but you can tear it off,
Yeah, and send it
and
back
put it
in,
in
and
the
I
envelope.
like that. That's good.
So
Good
that's a
tracking and
nice little
everything.
piece.
That's a nice.
Yeah. So and the other thing about it is because it's done on inkjet, you can personalize the back,
Right.
Dear Susie, or you can personalize the front. These are just parts of the same sheet of paper, so they make a nice it catches your attention.
That's a great little. Have you done? Are you able to do? This is one of the difficult things. Are you able to do a format test pretty easily?
Yeah,
I mean,
it's
postcards
variable.
versus something like that.
You can. We've got a couple of like in any given day we're doing some size A postcards, some size B postcards, some size sheet like this, some into an envelope. So we're doing several different things. So a client could split their stuff up into.
Does anybody do it? Because that's
Yeah, I think people don't test enough.
Yeah, well, good for
You
you.
like to your earlier question, like which are your favorite clients? I would love clients who don't think they know everything, and that's why I say like give me ones who haven't mailed before or have lost faith, so that we can sit and do tests and do things the way
learn something. Right, I know.
They would feel better about the money they spend. I would feel better with them having them as a customer because I can know what we're doing is getting the best results. And otherwise you end up they go, I know what I want to do and I'm going to do it like this, and you never know whether it's the right thing or not.
No, and then whether it works or it doesn't, they change it next time, so they don't have any baseline, no control, no nothing. Right, I know.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean that's.
Like I
Sounds
said,
like we sing
people
the same
don't want to
song
know.
on that one.
People don't like the truth. You can't handle the truth. That's what I say.
Well, digital has changed things for people a bit on this because on digital you can often do A/B testing and stuff almost on the fly. With the move of a mouse, you can say I'm going to change my subject line and I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to send half out like that and half out like that, and then you get an A/B test. They're used to that, but they don't sometimes think it that way with print because they think I have to do a whole bunch of like if it's the catalogs, like I'm doing all my catalog to look the same, right?
Yeah.
So I'm just going to make a good looking catalog.
With catalogs, usually we did a signature on the interior, or we did a cover test, and I've seen 40% difference between two covers that looked almost identical.
Yeah.
On 600,000 pieces, so it wasn't just a smurfy little test.
Yeah, no, and you know what? And the thing is that is done oftentimes. You don't get the chance to do micro testing on that.
Right.
I'll just give you an example, and I don't know whether it would work or not, but it might be the kind of test. So you're going to do some micro change to the cover, right? Now we have a digital world where you could test that tomorrow. So you would just put 2 Google ads out, one with the original cover slogans and offers, and the other one with a slightly different one that you think, and you would watch what happens.
Right.
And then you might not print any of this one because this one performs so much better, right? You'd like, why bother doing a test? We just tested it in digital and it's so much stronger. And that cost you $300 to test online in Google Ads rather than, waiting till next year to be able to change your catalog again. So there's neat things about digital for testing.
Hey, no, I'm okay with that. I think it makes a lot of sense. But a lot of times you don't get enough reaction to make the test a valid.
Yeah, you do need to get usually you have to be in a big enough marketplace and space to be able to get people to react.
Well,
to it.
It's been a pleasure, Steve. I'll get this compressed down a little bit, and I hope you can join us on Thursday. I know you've been to some of those little meetups.
Yeah, I think I have signed up for it.
Okay,
and
good. I
I've,
tell people we have
to-
celebrities come, and you're one. Okay.
Thanks for the time, John. It's been
Sure.
a pleasure.
Have a great day.
You have
Join
a
the
great day.
WDMA.
I have it up on my screen right over here.
Oh,
I just
good.
got to go down and find a credit card to be able to,
Oh,
to
good,
do
good, good. Well, I hope you do.
it.
It
Cheerio.
encourages me a lot. If I could do just talk about mail and do beekeeping, I'd be happy camper.
Good for you. Good for you. Find
Yeah,
things you love doing.
sure.
Alrighty. See you, John. Bye.
Yeah.